guys. You're in our hearts, always.
Oh, the stories we could share about them too.
Katie,
Black
remember, snakes are not friends.
They're going to love this when they hear it.
There you go.
Because I'm going to start this podcast.
You are?
Oh, wait, not started?
We are now going to start.
Shoot.
Can we make it so the music only plays for like the first 30 seconds of this conversation?
I did that. I've done that like once or twice, and people have complained. They like to hear the whole banter at the beginning.
My thing is the music sometimes just feels like it's overpowering what we're
Oh,
saying.
that's my fault. I need to do a better job at...
Here, I'll do it.
That wasn't even close.
I know.
Yeah.
To all our listeners, I have not listened to our podcast since, I think, King Tut.
I need to do a better job at mixing the audio. Because I'm also the producer of this here
You're
podcast.
our COO.
I was just thinking, Danny, that if anything ever happened where you were unavailable, Josh and I would be looking at that recording device going, how the heck am I supposed to get this working?
I would do this.
And he would hit it over and
over.
For
It's
an
not
hour
working.
and 5 minutes. And it would be success.
I have a document.
You have written instructions?
I have written instructions.
Oh my gosh.
I do.
That's good.
I thought it was a good thing to have.
I'll still mess it up.
Do I need to give you guys written instructions about how to draw our artwork?
Yes.
Do I need to give instructions of how to be
Danny-
absolutely stupid so you have to be
Danny's-
censored at least 3 times?
Danny's head is a B.
Oh.
Josh's head, I found out,
Is
A pear.
pear.
it is. Well, what's funny is I drew it multiple times this last week, and I'm trying something new with your face. So I drew it multiple times, and then I found out, Josh, you have your cheek sticks out,
Yes.
and so you kind of have this little pea-shaped
Aw.
thing sticking
Do
out of you.
you know the Veggie Tales?
That's true.
The guy who's the squash in Veggie Tales?
Yes,
That's the shape of my head.
that's what it is.
You're a summer squash.
It's like I even talks like
Now
that.
it's funny because when I got married, I was an upside down triangle. I had a very nice chiseled chin, large head because that runs in the family, and then it flipped.
You had a gigantic.
Now I have a.
too.
I did, and it stuck out further than my nose. X-ray showed it's true.
Yep.
Cute. Welcome to the Twaddling Along podcast. I am your host, Dan McBride, here with my brothers and co-hosts, Josh
I used to have an Adam's apple.
and Jake.
My head shape isn't really geonomically correct.
Ge-
Geonomically? Did you hear like that one?
Geonomically,
Geometrically. Thank you. I like that. That's a
Jake,
little better.
you have a good oval head.
It's
Aw.
I have a nice little. It's round on the top, and then I have just these weird little shapes that happen towards the bottom of my face.
I thought your
Weird
last
little-
art
I
that
have weird little shapes.
the last art you did of us, which I don't know if anyone will ever see, was perfect.
For what?
It was really good.
This one.
Oh, so I mean, as much as I want to take credit for that one,
I know it's assisted.
yeah, I played around with many things and then
But-
just threw it into something.
You could still put your name on it.
So, no, but I mean, I played around with it for a while. But some of the stuff that came out of it, I mean, there was one
Scary.
thing where Danny's eyes were literally bulging out of him. He looked like Marty Feldman.
What hump?
So, I initially was like, "Oh, that would have been a perfect one for Halloween."
Ooh.
Ooh. Topic this week is
Do you know who Marty Feldman is, Joshua?
No idea.
Marty Feldman.
from Young Frankenstein. Igor.
He's the guy with the
oh.
hump. But he also was he was a comedian with John Cleese and a lot of
He was a
people before
huge
that.
British comedian.
What was it, 1948? Is that what their initial one was called, or what was it?
The show?
Was he
Yeah.
part
Yes,
of
I
the
think so.
troupe Monty Python?
No.
So
No, it
not?
was the troupe prior to the Monty Python stuff.
Oh,
He was,
interesting.
and I think he was
Shout out to John Cleese if you're listening.
the Oxford side of things, and I think
We like you.
the other ones were from Cambridge Lightfoots. So, but that's not what we're talking about this week.
But it is close.
It is actually.
The history of Monty Python, that would be really
That would
funny.
be kind
My
of fun.
gosh.
Except that there's some like super sad parts of it,
There
Aw.
are some super sad parts.
and it's ending not great.
but they they love each other, but they hate each other at the same time. It's beautiful.
Some of them love each other. There are two that do not like each other very much right now.
Shout
yeah, But they have one of the best interviews ever from like 10 years ago.
From Conan O'Brien show.
Yep.
Love it.
So anyways,
So what are we talking about, Joshua?
we
It's,
are going to talk
least
about
favorite
somebody
time
who
of
is one of...
podcast.
Actually, I've never actually read anything about him.
You've never
You've
read
never read
anything?
anything?
I haven't
Anything
read
of his?
any of his literature.
You are kidding.
Nope. That's why I'm
Well,
going to turn it over to you two.
I say I will actually be honest. I've only read the Christmas Carol.
I
Oh my
haven't even-
gosh.
I haven't read The Christmas Carol, which gives it away. We're talking about Dickens.
I was so angry.
You little Dickens.
Chuck Dickens.
Old Chucky Dickens over there.
Yep, Charles.
We had Mark Twits, and we're trying to come up with a clever name that isn't highly inappropriate.
Yep,
Oh.
it's if you're a Mark Twitt, you're now a beep.
What?
Exactly.
Who knows?
Blah, blah, blah. Okay,
Josh is having
so
too much
we're
phone noises.
talking about Charles Dickens. He is a good guy.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Tune in next time.
Let
We're going to
me
be talking
let me
about...
tell you something about him. he was born.
I just want to point out, I would love for my eulogy to have... You know what? He was a good guy.
He was a good guy.
Well, if you pass away before I do, guess what?
It's going to be one of those... It's going to be he meant well.
Here's the thing.
He
Okay,
did all right. It's all fine.
I'm already going to go off on a tangent. Once upon a time, our grandpa passed away. Very sad. But at his funeral down in Arizona, his brother got up and gave us a prayer. And his brother's older than he was and is slowly has dementia and things. So his prayer went something like this. We are grateful for this old warrior before us. And now he lays before us as a decrepit dead man who's just like, and so that's I think how I will be with you guys. When you guys pass away before me, I'll say, they were great.
We're gonna
Now
have
they're
you
not.
give a prayer about us being dead in the ground, and
This old warrior is now dead. It's like, oh, thanks, okay. But back to Dickens. Born
yes,
7th of February, 1812.
that's correct.
1 Mile End Terrace was his address where he was born.
Okay.
The building still exists. It's now 393 Commercial Road in Landport in Portsmouth, Hampshire. If anyone wants to go visit.
I would actually like to go visit.
They actually have a museum somewhere else. But anyway,
That's where he lived later.
yep. But his parents was John Dickens and Elizabeth Dickens. And his full name is Charles John Huffam Dickens. His middle name John from his dad. And his godfather, Christopher Huffam.
What was his occupation, Josh?
Who?
This Charles Dickens that you're speaking of,
And literally what I do.
a novelist.
I'm not a novelist.
Charles Dickens was.
No, you said John Dickens.
No, I did not. But thanks
He
for.
said Charles Dickens.
Well, Charles Dickens was a political writer.
He was
Well, it depends on his
not
part
a
of life.
political writer. He was a
He's,
novelist.
hey, let's talk about when he first started working, and then I'll change your mind.
Okay. I think you might want to start with his early life. So.
Let's start with his early life, Danny. 1812. Do you know who else was born around that time?
Who?
Queen Victoria. If you haven't watched our Queen Victoria podcast, go watch it and listen. Because you don't watch podcasts, you listen to them. Freaking
Yes.
idiots. This is going so
This
well.
is.
Are you guys
this
just
is the
so
best,
excited for the next
This
hour?
is the best
All right.
beginning of a podcast.
I think this is
I've
where
ever
we
done.
need to give a disclaimer that we often share opinions that we have quickly looked up online in a hour and a half format. Josh, I imagine you only had how much time to study for this?
Well, I looked up the Spark Notes to Wikipedia.
the Spark,
no.
the Spark Notes, the Wikipedia, the Spark Notes would be like, "This is a data repository." No, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, let's go back to the beginning. So he was born in Hampshire.
How many times have we said these?
I don't know. But
Well, let's go back.
We
He
are
was named Charles
right, and his middle name.
Dickens.
Okay.
Oh,
Right.
John Huffam. So he was the second of 8 children.
He was.
He was on the older side. His dad was a clerk for the Navy at the time, at the very tail end of the Napoleonic Wars. And so he was actually making some pretty good cash during that time. But the Napoleonic Wars ended just after Charles was born, and his dad was kind of left destitute in the sense that during war he was doing really good, but once
he was terrible with money. Well, we could be honest.
Once the military was over, they were sent back to London.
Charles called him a jovial opportunist with no money sense. So he was a really fun, really happy guy, kind of in the realm of like the Bob Cratchit. Really, Bob Cratchit was kind of modeled off of his father. He just had zero money sense.
Yeah, and so he was only making a little bit at the time, but was working as a clerk.
Which I think, that's what a cricket.
Yep,
cricket.
Crotchet.
Crotchet was as well.
Bob Cratchit. Wait, what is his name? Bob Cratchit.
Bob Cratchit.
Cratchit. Not Crotch. So Charles Dickens.
Innuendos.
Crotchet.
Cratchit. Keep going.
So Charles Dickens has a very good memory. He remembers as early as 2 years old. Did you guys know that?
Yeah, it's actually kind of weird. There's a lot of talk about whether or not he was savant. Yeah, like that he had some autistic tendencies that made it so he had what do they call it? Ademic memory? What kind of memory? Yeah.
Yeah, and so he remembers a parade that occurred when he was 2 years old and can remember it like to detail. That was very good. But also he describes himself, remembering himself at that time, that he was very small and not overly particularly taking care of boy.
He was not.
And so he was kind of left kind of on the sidelines for most of his life with his family, and it kind of left some bad feelings that we could talk about here in just a second. But the crazy thing is because he wasn't really well taken care of, he was sick a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. He was described having some sort of spasms, and we could go into that for the next 5 minutes, which we will. Some say that he was actually epileptic.
Yeah.
That he possibly had seizures and whatnot. But because of the era and the time and the culture, if you said that you were epileptic, you'd probably be put into an asylum because it was related to mental illness or other things like that.
Possessed.
And so, yeah. And so it never came out that he was actually having seizures, but from all evidence, it probably was that he was having some sort of seizures at the time. But because he was sick, he read a lot. He couldn't really go outside and do a ton of things, so he read a lot and became an outstanding reader. Just a little known fact, literacy rate in England around 1820 was only 53%. And so he was in just barely the majority of reading, but half of the people in England couldn't read yet.
Yeah, and even those who were considered literate did not have complex literacy.
Yeah.
What we would consider to be like 9th grade and above reading levels. And so he was astoundingly bright.
Yeah. And a lot of that is because he was able to go to private school when his dad was a Navy clerk. He had access to the more prestigious schools where he could receive a better education than most of the children at the time. So, yeah, anything I missed?
I think that we probably need to talk about his dad going to jail.
Oh, yes, his dad going to jail. So, in 1822, because there was no really military things going on, his dad, John, was called back to London to work at the Navy headquarters. I can't remember what the place is called. It's like Somerset or something, but it was in London. But his dad, when he went back, he had a ton of debt back in the area that he had been in. He had overspent.
From a baker.
Yeah.
It was literally, he owed 40 pounds, which was a huge amount of money.
It's about $5,000.
To a
5,000 pounds now.
Baker.
Yeah. And so back then in this was the end of Georgian era, beginning of Victorian era, debt was seen as like the worst. And so you actually went to debtor's prison if you couldn't pay it back. And so his dad did go to prison, but Charles stayed out of. His family went with his dad. And debtor's prison isn't I mean, it was bad for a lot of people, but if you could somewhat pay, then it was a little bit better. You still had access to go and work and have your family with you. So it wasn't exactly like you were locked up in, horrible circumstances.
Sure.
If you had a little bit of money to work with. And that's how John was. He had a little bit of money, even though he couldn't pay off his debtors, so he had his family with him, except for Charles and his older sister.
Yeah.
Charles stayed with a lady by the name of Elizabeth Roylance, which he described as a reduced, impoverished old lady long known to our family.
Which, if you read any of his books, you'll pick her out pretty quickly as multiple different characters all throughout.
And that's one of the things that you'll recognize is, as we talk about his history, you'll realize that a lot of the books is based off of experiences that he had growing up.
Yeah, because he was forced to leave school during this time, and he was forced to work at a blacking factory.
Yeah, shoe polish.
Yep.
Basically. And he would wrap the shoe polish in kind of like a wrapping for 10 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Yep.
And he only...
For pittance.
Yep. He only earned 6 shillings, which historical value is about $1.33 USD.
It was enough just for food.
Yep. So... but the purchase power, so he made about $50 a week is kind of the purchase power that 6 shillings had, where you could buy moldy meat, some bread that may be stale, kind of thing, when he was around the age of 12.
Yeah, the thing that really worked out for him is, even though his father was in debtor's prison with the rest of the family, he was living with... this lady for a little while, then he went and lived with the Russells for a little while. Yeah. He had kind people kind of in his life, which really saved him from the horrors of what were going on in the early Victorian era. Because this is, anybody who's read like Oliver Twist or The Great Expectations will know, like, off of his books, it was bad in London. Like, it was really, really bad.
Yeah.
Like, children were left to fend for themselves, and the childhood mortality, like, reached levels and heights that were unheard of.
Yep. And one of his escapes during this time, because he faced some of that while he was working in the black shop.
He saw it.
Yeah. Was he loved theater and loved comedies. In fact, just prior to him and his dad going to debtor's prison, he went and saw Grimaldi, who created the modern day clown. Mm-hmm. He's the father of clowns. And he really loved that. And so on Sundays, the day that he had off, he would actually go see his sister, who was at the Royal Academy of Music, and also see theater productions during that time. And that's kind of what kept him sane. And he kind of carried that throughout most of the rest of his life, as he would go and see theaters and plays. And
no, for most of you listening to this, or as we get to the Christmas Carol, Scrooge kind of has a very similar experience, and you could see how his
100%. Yeah. Who had a close sister who visited him when he didn't return home, and
while he was working off his dad's debt.
Yep. Well, just a few months later, so Charles Dickens was only in working child for several months, but it made a huge impact. But his grandma ended up dying and left
had enough money.
Yeah, had enough money to pay off. I should say that was willed to his dad, so he could pay off his debts. Now, this is where Dickens finally gets this kind of opinion about women.
Specifically about his mom.
Especially about his mom, because at this time, he could have stopped working, returned back to school, and everything would have been great. However, his mom petitioned for him to go and continue working at this workshop instead of finishing his education.
Well, he got in a fight with the guy that was in charge of it, who was actually a relative.
Yep.
And they kicked him out. And so he didn't want to go back, but his mom was like, "Nope, you need to go back."
His mom what he said was warm to the idea.
Yep.
And let me tell you,
he never forgave her.
They call it righteous indignation in a lot of different things, but if you've read David Copperfield, there's some characteristics that are very, very similar. And let's just say that he had some harsh beliefs about certain kinds of women after that.
Yep. And so he didn't go back. He ended up being able to finish his education, where he became kind of the class clown during those times and became highly educated. And his dad was able to find him a job just after he graduated as a clerk. And that's kind of where he started.
In a law office.
Yeah, he was a clerk, and then he realized that he didn't want to be a clerk the rest of his life. In one of the documentaries I watched, he said he didn't want to have to paint his suit coat to make it appear that it wasn't worn. And he thought that a clerk would do that, which is kind of rude because that's what I do. But anyway, so he learned shorthand to be able to learn how to do shorthand in like legal proceedings in courts, and that's where his writing kind of started.
Did you know that Grandma knew shorthand?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Grandma Minson. Shorthand was actually like very well used until about the 60s and 70s.
You guys should explain what shorthand is.
In shorthand, instead of writing full characters or full like letters, there are certain symbols that can actually make up a like word. So let's say I were to say the rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain. You try to write that all out, it's going to take you a long time. In shorthand, you can write it faster.
Yeah.
And so you can do dictation and you can write things down specifically. It's how people were able to quote people precisely back in the old days, because it looks like scribbling.
Yeah, and for those of you who like know different language such as Mandarin or Cantonese, where like a single character
could mean something like
it could be a phrase
in shorthand. It was more sound. So it was like the had like a slash, or SPI versus SPO had a different like symbol, and so you could really, really quickly write.
Is that where the and symbol came from?
Actually, yes, in one of them. Yeah.
So before we move on to his kind of career starting out as a writer, we need to note or make a note that he had his first love at the age of 18. One Maria Beadnell, thought to have been the model for a character Dora in David Copperfield. Even though they were the same social class, Maria's parents disapproved of young Charles, 18-year-old Charles, and ended up shipping Maria back to Paris. And when she came back for Paris, she was super cold and kind of gave him the cold shoulder, and that messed him up he kind of actually became kind of a stalker for a little while.
Kind of a little bit.
But that kind of set him off for different love romances throughout his life, which is interesting. So, journalism and writing. In 1832, at the age of 20, Dickens was an energetic and increasingly self-confident. And when I say energetic, the one thing that I want to note is a lot of times when he was writing, he had so much energy he had to go walk it off.
Yeah.
He would go on like 20-mile walks at night because he had so much energy of, flowing juices and things, which is crazy to me.
Well, the other thing is that he was prolific in his writing. We know of all of the different novels that he did, but he also, as a journalist, wrote all the time. He had huge correspondence, and he was able to get through books quickly. I think Christmas Carol only took him 6 weeks or something, like a ridiculously short amount of time. So
so he started out as in the law as writer, doing courts and different things, but he actually wanted to be an actor.
An actor?
Yep, he went to audition for an acting job, but fate had different ideas and gave him a cold, and so he wasn't able to attend the audition. And from then on, he never auditioned ever again. So he could have not been a writer at all, but too bad. So sad.
There you go.
But in 1833, Dickens submitted his first story, A Dinner at Poplar Walk, to the London periodical Monthly Magazine. And that's how a lot of his started, was he wrote segments of his books and submitted them to magazines or newspapers and things. And that's kind of how he
which was really common.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people did segmented writing at the time. So,
and then he became the Boz.
the Boz sketches by Boz.
Yeah, a lot of people had
Pseudonym.
pseudonyms where they didn't necessarily write under their own name because you could sometimes have negative opinions and get away with it if you write under a different name. For example, when we talked about Benjamin Franklin, his was Silence Dogood. So his brother, so his brother couldn't find out. Same thing with Charles. He wrote under the Boz to become more humorous because at this time it was a little bit more comedic and funny, and he could get away with sharing a little bit more negative opinions against the crown and social classes and things. So, yeah. 1836, Sketches of Boz, as Danny said. Boz being a family nickname he employed as a pseudonym. He adopted it from the nickname Moses, which he had given to his younger brother, Augustus. But it was shortened to Boz because it became Bozos and then Boz.
Oh, I thought you said Moses. I'm like, how the freaking heck did he get Boz out of Moses?
That's what he said. He said when pronounced by anyone with a head called Moses became Bozos, which became Boz.
Moses became Moses.
That is the most roundabout way to get to something.
Hey,
Moses or roses.
I know.
Wait, let's think about this for a second. I need to think about this. What pseudonym do you guys would think would be appropriate for me?
Jake, Bake, Back, Ack.
So
you are now
the axe of back or ack.
You are now Ack.
I am ack.
Well, but I mean, the one thing that you need to remember though is that at the time you had Cockney rhyming slang, so it was actually fairly common for them to do things like to make different things. So like they say Adam and Eve for believe, or they say bees and honey for money, or they do like bubble and squeak is Greek, duck and dive is sky, thing like that.
So I would have
Jake
been acne.
So no, you would probably be Jake. Would be bread and bake is probably what they would call you.
Bread and bake.
And so then they would shorten it to bread, and then you would be loaf. Like that's how it works. Like
You're
that's rhyming. That's the rhyming slang of the time. That's what they
Danny,
did.
I know you hate this, but you'd be butt.
Danny,
Not in England, I wouldn't.
Fanny.
It would be the opposite. Don't say it. That's a swear word in England.
No,
Will
that's,
never be published.
that's what I was saying. He was saying
Fanny.
Danny the Fanny.
Fanny is that?
Oh, yeah,
you
Fanny.
would you would be
Fanny means the front side.
Oh, does it really?
He sure does.
you would be
Oh, that's embarrassing.
front bum.
Well, if we ever publish in England,
Everyone, you missed that joke, but I said no. I'm just kidding. So let's go back to Dickens. So he was Bose, and he became super famous because he actually became more or less a comic writer.
He did.
So people
Wrote
would
captions.
illustrate. Yeah, he would write captions to comics or cartoons, and that became super, super popular. And one of his most famous ones that actually really took off was the Pickman or Pickwick.
The Pickwick Papers.
Yes.
not the little pigment.
Wow. But yeah, the Pickwick papers were huge and actually made it to like America, made it all over Europe.
And they are funny in the context of what the Victorians found to be funny.
Yeah.
So it was more, all the Pickwick Papers are about, and it actually is something that I would say if you're a fan of like the Christmas Carol, you'll find some allusions in the Pickwick Papers. It's really about a rich old gentleman who gathers a bunch of people and says, hey, we're going to go out and we're going to have an adventure in London. We're just going to go out and we're going to see what happens. And they go out and they get into like, I've fallen in love with the landlady. Oh, she doesn't like me. He. Like that kind of Victorian humor. So it kind of flies over our head a little bit probably now, but it's definitely like, it's Victorian in the sense that it's on the edge of indecency. And so that made things hilarious to the Victorians.
Hence his name, Dickens.
Josh really likes to keep pointing that out.
Good.
I told you I'd say his name as much as possible.
So-
we need to remind the listeners of his name.
All I can say is this just reminds me of the idea of the Shakespearean comedies where
They don't make
I
sense.
read through that and go, this doesn't make a lick of sense. But
Yeah.
I'm sure back in the day it was an uproar of laughter. And
You have to get into the context of the time. And to do that, you have to have like an infinite amount of time to like read up on the culture and everything.
Now, the sketches of Boz or Bose or whatever kind of created a little bit of a schism with him and the illustrator, Robert Seymour. So much so they got in a little bit of a tiffy.
Oh, boy.
And it didn't end well. Seymour died.
Yeah, he committed suicide right after that.
Yeah. Before or after the second installment, and Dickens, who wanted to write a connected series of sketches, hired a guy who went by the pseudonym Fizz. So it was Bose and Fizz.
Fizz and Bose.
That too.
Bose Fizz.
And they continued writing the Pickwick Papers, which super famous, like I said, so much so that a lot of people stole it. People used it for marketing things because there wasn't really copyright laws back in the day. So people kind of just copied the illustration, copied the comics, and sold it for themselves and took credit. And this kind of became a huge thing that later he would go to America and try to get the people for copyright laws and, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Now, I'm reading here that the Pickwick Papers actually kind of where he actually invented the modern day cliffhanger format.
Yeah, because he would end on on one of them. They would end up in like a prison, and it would be like, "What happens next? Oh no!"
It's a to be continued.
Yeah, it's like a
I
continued.
hated those cartoons.
You did.
Yeah, because then it was like, well, show me the next episode, but then it wouldn't come out for another week.
See, and I loved reading the funnies in the paper. Before phones, that's what I kind of just did while I was using the restroom, is just read the funnies. And then Mom would knock after 45 minutes and go, "Why are you still in there?"
And you would realize.
Still laughing.
So,
Sketches of Bose.
where should we go next? Probably to his marriage.
I think it might be good because the Sketches of Bose happened kind of around the time that he did get married.
Yep. So he ended up being with, or I can't remember, and you guys correct me, was he writing with Hogarth, or was he living with?
He knew people that knew the original Hogarth who had died, but he was a big fan of because he had been like a author of.
He was an editor of the Evening Chronicle. So he had several daughters, and he ended up marrying one of the older ones, Catherine Thompson Hogarth, who he stayed married to.
Sort of.
Well,
and like I said,
they had a pretty good marriage for the first 10 years.
more like open relationship.
Sort of. No.
More like she was closed and he was open.
More like he accused her of being psychotic when she clearly wasn't, and she kind of went, well, and wrote an incredibly horrific letter that you can still read online saying, if you think me mad, then I shall be mad for you.
Oh.
Yeah. He did not treat her well.
He was also very upset that she was so fertile. So
Yes.
We have to remind you.
Popping
Remember,
out some
he
kids.
he did not like women because all women were like his mother, and his mother was a witch.
Well, he didn't like mother figures.
Yes.
I think that's a better way of saying there's definitely something that runs through Dickens where he has this thing where mother figures are not great. Anybody who's read like Great Expectation will know like the mother figure, the grandmother figure, the old woman figure, the kind of prim and proper and circumstantial woman was an enemy. And so once his wife kind of fit that bill, he was like, you've gone crazy.
So he went after her younger sister and all that stuff.
Yep.
But they got pregnant pretty fast. Literally 2 months into their marriage, she was pregnant with their first child, Charles. And that started out 10 kids. Can you imagine that?
10 children.
That's
and again,
ridiculous.
He kept blaming her that she was getting pregnant.
Yep. He's like, hey, knock it off. She's like,
By the way,
we need a bunk bed.
And you call me bad?
They literally separated their beds and then put a bookshelf in between the beds to be able to stop him from.
Dickens. Anyways,
Josh, you gotta stop. Seriously.
That's his name. Come on. I forgot to mention one of the most famous readers of his comics, especially Oliver Twist, which happened previous to him getting married, was Queen Victoria herself. She
Or so it says.
loved his work, even though he was trying to completely tear down everything she believed in. So, but yeah, he got married, had a child, and kept having children, and wrote a lot of books. The end. Good job, everyone.
Okay.
All right, let's go through his books really quick. Oliver Twist, 1837.
Nice.
This exposed the cruelty of the workhouse system and child crime.
And like I said, I want you guys to realize, like, I realized this as I was reading his documentary, his biographies, that literally everything he wrote was based upon an event that occurred to him.
Nicholas Nickleby was attacked brutal Yorkshire boarding schools.
Which he visited boarding schools and thought they were horrible places because it was send your son away and they can just disappear and I don't have to worry about them.
Christmas Carol, 1843.
And that's where we pause. Christmas Carol is what we're talking about next.
Are we?
Good,
I don't know.
because that's what I drew for the heart.
Christmas Carol. Charles Dickens.
Merry Christmas, everybody. By the way, this is coming out the week of Christmas. Well, we've been in a holiday spirit, if you couldn't tell. Josh is full of jolly and whim.
It's true. I can't even stay focused.
And hey, the Christmas Carol influenced the Western celebration of Christmas and popularized the idea of charity.
Yep.
Did you know that he's known as the father of Christmas? So
There are many that call
in
him
the
that.
book when it
For
says
the modern day Christmas, yeah.
Father Christmas,
I say there's a
there's a bunch
movie
of-
that came out that I think it's called The Father of Christmas that goes over this. It's really good.
Well, and it talks about, like things that we didn't have in the Western world other than kind of in Europe, like the carols.
Yeah.
Caroling became popular because Christmas Carol became popular here. Christmas cards. A lot of things.
Ghost haunting people.
Yeah.
yeah, and
No,
ghosts.
you
Ghosts were
you
introduced.
laugh, but no, that's
No, it's
actually
true.
it was actually a really big part of Christmas tradition that you would actually have Christmas ghost stories. That's why this was in the Victorian time, this was not seen as some kind of weird thing that Christmas and ghosts were connected. Like this was actually kind of a natural and normal thing. It would be like someone sitting down at the Christmas fire and telling a tale.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
Christmas ghosts are
So,
singing.
Christmas Carol really took off in a crazy way because I always thought it was like this huge novel, but it's called like a novella or novelette.
Novelette.
That too.
Novelette. It's called a supernova, like a star.
You've never read Christmas Carol.
I have never read Christmas Carol, and it's funny. A few weeks ago, we were talking about all the different version movies, and you said that the Muppets Christmas Carol was the most like the
It was.
book, and I was like, I did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was more like Sir Patrick Stewart's one, kind
The
of
really dark
darker.
one? No. It actually follows it pretty darn well. I would dare say that it's even more simple. Like the book itself is simple. And the nice thing about the book is it's built into 5 chapters, which it was how it was released. It was released as kind of a serial. It was the first chapter is Scrooge gets visited by the ghost of Marley. The second chapter is the ghost of Christmas past. Then third chapter goes to Christmas present. Fourth,
The Christmas present.
the fourth is the ghost of Christmas yet to come, and then the fifth is Reformation.
And everyone looked at that and said, you know what we can do? We can turn them into acts. And so acts they did.
They really did. I mean, that's it.
It started almost
flowed.
immediately.
I read the Christmas Carol in act form so often in school.
Really?
Yep.
I
And
did
for some
not.
reason, they kept making me Scrooge.
Scrooge, come here, little man.
I must have been the humbug.
Now, I want to focus on the Christmas Carol probably for the rest of our time because
I think it's good. Can I just bring up one quick thing?
no.
I'm going to.
Okay.
The reason that we have the Raven from Edgar Allan Poe is because of Charles Dickens.
Was he the Raven?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Charles Dickens
Okay.
is the reason that Edgar Allan Poe wrote The Raven.
So Edgar Allan Poe wrote The Raven because Charles Dickens wrote The Christmas Carol.
No, Charles Dickens owned ravens.
Charles Dickens owned ravens.
And it was very, very well known at the time. Edgar Allan Poe saw that and wrote The Raven based off of Charles Dickens.
Ooh.
Is Raven the one where the guy's staring at him?
What? The Raven is the one where the raven's in it.
Oh.
The Raven Josh is the one that looks like Bart Simpson.
One of the best tellings of the Raven that has ever been done.
I think that's the only time I've actually heard it all the way through.
Oh, it is just
because of The Simpsons.
That
Joshua,
is the very first.
I'm ashamed that you don't know that.
You really don't know that?
Treehouse of Horror?
The first Treehouse of Horror.
Dude, I am an uncultured swine.
Well, what's funny is you watch all these horror movies.
Yeah,
and
I was
stuff,
gonna say.
so-
Yeah, but not Edgar Allan Poe. He's kind of like depressing.
Well, but James Earl Jones is the narrator.
Quote the Raven
Oh, it is literally the best.
That was a good James Earl
That was
Jones.
fantastic.
That was
James
more
Earl
like
Jones.
Sean Connery. Quote the Raven nevermore. You see? Wait, no, I don't even know where that was going.
I don't know either.
New York accent. See?
It makes me sad that you haven't read number one Christmas Carol, and we'll get back to Christmas Carol, but that you won't even read Edgar Allan Poe. The Raven is literally like 2 pages.
I've actually read a lot of Edgar Allan Poe stuff.
Okay.
The one I was saying is the guy with the glass eye that's always open, so the guy keeps looking in to his room, and then he freaks out and kills the guy and buries him under the thing, but he's like crazy and...
Oh, the Telltale Heart.
That one.
There you go.
Yes.
I see where we're
His
at
other
now.
famous one.
Oh, see, and I haven't read that one.
Well, I mean, there's
That
the
one
cast of
is a
Amontillado. There's
psychopathic-
the...
He had problems, and guess what? We're related.
Yeah,
We
we are.
needed that. He's a good one we need to do sometime. Anyways, let's...
So,
Christmas Carol.
Yeah, Christmas Carol. So what is your favorite Christmas Carol?
Let's name some.
Are you talking music-wise, or what are we talking here?
Edition. Not edition. That's not the word I'm looking for. Like
rendition, Joshua.
rendition. Favorite edition.
What's your favorite edition? I like the 6th edition.
Let's go all the way back to the 90s.
The 90s.
Muppet Christmas
It
Carol.
was a long time ago.
Muppet Christmas Carol.
Muppet Christmas Carol.
First Muppet movie post Jim Henson.
No, was that in the 90s or was it in the 80s?
Was 92.
Was it really?
Yes, I did just look that up because Jim Henson died in 1990.
Brian Hansen.
What?
Let's see. Scrooged.
Jim Henson's son's Brian Hansen.
Oh, okay.
Scrooged.
What's that one?
Bill Murray. That's the Bill Murray one where Bill Murray is playing a...
Modern day Scrooge. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that one.
Then there's, of course, Scrooge, which is Albert Finney.
That's probably my favorite.
Is that your favorite too, Jake? Are you a Scrooge fan?
I am a Scrooge fan. Thank You Very Much is a song that is stuck in my head all throughout.
I
Christmas.
just watched that
nicest
last
thing
night.
that anyone's ever done for me.
I had to watch it in celebration of us doing Charles Dickens because I like when he says, Scrooge, come here.
Is that what he says?
Yeah.
Yep. When Scrooge is getting a little upset at the
At the game
At the game.
because they all suck in their...
and then he gives him the wine, and then Scrooge gets very happy. A perpetual spree, he says.
I like life.
But that also, I mean, they had some good cast in that one too. So
Yeah, what's Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Alec Guinness,
Alec Guinness is? Yeah, he plays...
Marley.
he is the ghost
Molly
of
and
Obi-Wan
Molly.
Kenobi in that movie too.
I was telling my wife this yesterday. Do you know there's 2 versions of the movie? There's a TV and
which
then
one?
of Scrooge, the
Is it?
musical. There's the TV version and then the not TV version.
So
The TV version is...
It has no hell.
Excuse me. Yeah, he falls into the grave and then wakes up in his bed. In the real one, he goes down to hell and then
They bring the chains in.
he is put in his office that's freezing and he says, "You're the only one that's going to be cold in hell." That was my Alec Guinness.
That was a good
He
Alec Guinness. That was
Well, what's so funny is he kind of just seemed to skip up and down the
I
hallways
know
of
he was
hell.
kind of a weird.
I never see, and that's one of the things that I don't understand. Like when he's a ghost, he's moving like I'm assuming he thinks that's how ghosts move, but it just looks like he's uncomfortable.
Yes.
He's like
how he waves
has many chains,
when
Danny.
he's gone. He is about to close the door on Scrooge in hell, and he's like,
Yep, it waves the fond little farewell.
wasn't Scrooge also in the hell scene where like overly buff men
Yes,
walk
bring
in
in the
with
chain.
with the black caps on,
and it's kind of like this is getting a
little steamy.
a little steamy going
They were
on.
they
here.
were sweating. Let's just say
But
that.
Albert Finney, is that a name?
Albert Finney.
Yeah.
That is his name.
Genius, because he played both the old Scrooge and the young Scrooge, and played them perfectly.
Which is funny because when he was old, he didn't look anything like the old Scrooge.
No,
No.
he did not.
And the funny thing is I think when he did the show, he was like in his 40s.
For anybody who wants to see an old Albert Finney, he is in the movie Skyfall as the game hunter of James Bond.
Yes.
Very, very good. Let's see.
You
What are
have
some other
Mickey
versions?
Mouse as Scrooge, with Scrooge McDuck being Scrooge himself.
That one
I-
has a tender place in my
I
heart.
was going to say that's mine too. I have a
But our VHS recording never had the ending, so it just kind of ended with him waking up, and we
With
never got to see the after
Pete.
effects.
Yeah, I just remember Pete as,
Why yours, Ebenezer?
and then the Fee-Fi-Fo-Fum giant was the
Good Christmas. Good
Christmas present. And
who couldn't say pistachio.
Yeah.
Pistachios.
present.
Pistachios.
And then you had
Who
Jiminy
was-
Cricket. Who
Oh,
was the
that's right.
ghost of the past, and then Goofy played his partner.
Rob Marley.
Yeah.
I was going to say, what a terrible casting choice. Now, Goofy is going to play someone who is
And
damned to hell.
yeah, why didn't they
Well,
do
maybe a
Donald
little
Duck?
longer.
Donald Duck was the freaking nephew.
He was. Well, I'll be doggone.
Well, I'll be doggone. Let's see. There is the Christmas Carol, the animated.
I never watched that one.
Which
wanted to
one?
watch
Like
it.
the 3D one with Jim Carrey.
Oh, the Jim Carrey one I have.
Yeah, it's a Jim Carrey one. There's also the really old one
Yeah, the
from
old
1982.
2D one that was kind of interesting.
See, I also thought the Jim Carrey one was more accurate, but that one's kind of sketchy as well.
No, I think that one is one of the closer ones.
The
They
If
only
I remember
They
right.
show the children,
yeah, the hunger and whatever.
which is a little,
Which is
fun
freaky.
thing. Yeah. My thing is like I can watch Polar Express to a point just because the music has some things and stuff. The Jim Carrey one, in the new Alvin and the Chipmunks Rescue Rangers, they make fun of the fact that the eyes just don't seem to focus truly on anything, and they just don't seem to have true emotions. They just really wanted to make them lifelike. And in the Polar Express one, they made the elves look like these horrible little demons. And I feel like what they did with that is they looked at that and said, you know what we should do?
Jim Carrey.
We should make everyone look like those little elven demons, but we'll put it in the Christmas Carol. And that's what happened.
Well, and then there's the candle lady that they snuff out.
Oh yeah, that was
Where it's more of an illusion in the book. They make it a literal candle lady. So there's a couple things.
I know a lot. They
These are
make them
the
a lot of
things of
candles.
Christmas.
So
These are
But
the
that's just 'cause
shadows
the-
of your past.
in the past, the Ghost of Christmas Past was constantly changing face, but his face was lit up. So I think that's why people just put him as candle. So
Yo.
guess what, Danny? I'm gonna make you a candle.
Oh. Wait,
Can I?
how come I don't get to be the ghost of Christmas present?
That's because
I'm the most jolly and
Josh.
I chose the topic,
Yeah,
I see.
but I know the least.
If it
amount
makes
of
you feel
charts
better,
ticket.
I'm gonna do Scrooge. So, and then the Ghost of Christmas Future is gonna be in the back waving at everyone.
So let's talk about the Christmas Carol just for a little bit longer. The Legacy.
Legacy. It literally is one of the most read and or watched stories of Christmas.
It is. It is. It is forever entombed in, ready for my word usage again, the zeitgeist of Christmas.
Zeitgeist of Christmas, everybody.
zeitgeist
We're
of
not talking
Christmas.
about Poltergeist. We're talking about Scrooge.
Specifically, the zeitgeist of what we would consider to be the Georgian or early Victorian Christmas. When people think of Christmas in the Victorian times, what they're really thinking about is a Christmas Carol. And you can see that reflected in even nowadays, like like the present day carolers that go around, they're dressed as Victorian people.
Yeah, they have their, long coats and
even the stylistic changes of boughs and hollies and wreaths and everything. I love me some figgy pudding.
I also think that it brought a lot of like the religious. What's his name again? Cratchit.
Bob Cratchit.
Bob Cratchit. I keep wanting to say crotchet.
Croquet.
Crackit. No, Cratchit. He goes to church, and that became, that was a custom, but it really brought it back, as well as you go to church on Christmas morning.
God
or
bless
Christmas
us,
Eve.
everyone is now a universal saying
Yep.
in the Christmas season.
I will tell you this. It plays a really, really important part in linking humanitarian things with Christmas. See, up till that point, Christmas was it was a celebration. There wasn't the humanitarian aspect. It wasn't really until Christmas Carol that there was a huge cultural push that, hey, we need to do better about being humanitarians. We need to do better about taking care of the poor. We need to do better about this. And that's linked to Christmas. And you can see that even nowadays. That's...
Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing that I think Charles Dickens was trying to do is, in Victorian time, there were classes. You had the aristocrats, you had the middle class, and then you had the super poor people. And he didn't want to forget the poor people. So he created characters like Tiny Tim to make us more aware of the sick kids who may not have made it, or the poor people, and try to paint aristocrats as these grumpy old Scrooges kind of thing.
What's really interesting is just how things have changed. So when this first came out, I think a lot of the people who saw it as a morality tale. Like the Christmas Carol is a story that taught us some kind of moral, and it was an adult story. This wasn't meant for kids.
No.
Yet over time, the Christmas Carol became more of a children's tale. We talked about some of our favorites, Mickey's Christmas Carol, the Muppets Christmas Carol. They're all, for all intents and purposes, focused on children.
Yeah, absolutely.
The new Netflix one that came out 2 years ago, my daughter watches on a daily basis.
So it's something that's kind of really interesting that we've kind of taken this parable that was more of like, it was Charles Dickens trying to talk about the plight of the poor and the idea of a miser. And we've changed it into this story of redemption for children, which I think is really kind of a fascinating thing.
And this kind of really started the change of policies in England.
It did.
I feel like a lot of his books did, but this was kind of the pinnacle of that started, child labor, better places, humanitarian charity, the elimination of classes, all this kind of stuff. Christmas Carol did a lot of that for England. Even though it was only in the 40s and it would take another decade or two to get things really rolling, but it really did start a change that continued.
Well, it really did. So by 1869, the idea of a debtor's prison went away completely.
Yeah.
There was no debtor's prison. And it wasn't a few years later that I think that child labor, I was actually looking to see.
Yeah, in England. Now, in the United States, we had child labor up until the early 20th century.
The earliest year of
right
American
before
history.
World War I, I believe, is when they changed that.
Josh was one of those that was doing a bootlegger thing.
Yes. Prohibition.
1833 Act banning children under 9 from factories.
Yeah.
With 1842 getting rid of the Mines Act, and by 1850 standardizing work hours for everybody. So
literally within a 10-year period, and all during the time of when he started writing.
Now, once again, I don't think Charles Dickens to me is a really cool character in that Charles Dickens really represents the idea of a person coming from a specific story and utilizing that story to do change.
Yeah.
And is he problematic in some ways? Yes. Dickens was a womanizer. Dickens was...
not really faithful.
Yeah, and he had some weird governmental and some weird political thoughts. But what Dickens represents to England especially, but the world really, is an idea of a more charitable society, which I think is something that everybody can come to. Mark Twain was a big fan of Charles Dickens.
Mark Twitt.
Even though they lived at the exact same time, and Mark Twain tried very hard to go see Charles Dickens on multiple times, they never did cross paths.
But do you know who he did cross paths and was actually really good friends with? Who? Was Washington
Irving?
Irving.
Yeah, he was.
They were really, really good pals and had a lot of the same things. Another thing that Charles Dickens went to the United States during the 1840s after his success with Christmas Carol. Mm-hmm. And everyone loved him until he started becoming anti-slavery. And then it kind of ruined his reputation in America for a while.
Yeah,
Fun fact.
He was not at all.
It's just interesting that Christmas Carol, like, of all things, and it was kind of one of the first Christmas stories as well. As I was reading it, it was kind of the first, like, tale of Christmas that had ever been written.
We didn't get to it, and I wish we would have. But Hans Christian Andersen and Charles Dickens had a very tumultuous friendship.
Nice.
Where Hans Christian Andersen overstayed his welcome.
Nice.
And Charles Dickens pretty much had to kick him out. It's a very funny story. If anybody wants to look it up, it is very humorous. So yeah.
Charles Dickens. Oh. Sorry everyone for this podcast. Especially this episode. Because, yeah.
Why are you apologizing?
Because Charles Dickens would have apologized.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
Josh meant well.
No, I think Merry Christmas. Number one, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. It is Christmas
holidays, week. Merry Christmas. We recommend this is going to come out Monday night. So you've got Tuesday.
Christmas Adam.
And Wednesday,
Christmas Eve,
where you should go and you should find yourself some Christmas Carol, and just do a general watching of a couple different Christmas carols. Find Scrooge, find Scrooged, find the Muppet Christmas Carol, find just a couple of them.
And here's what I'll tell you: go find a Scrooge and throw a wreath at him, and then say God bless you.
Dress up as a ghost, break into his house. Tell him he's going to get visited by 3 other ghosts.
First, watch the movie Scrooge and follow Alec Guinness's portrayal of the ghost.
Do you know that movie used to give me nightmares when he's taken up in the sky and those ghosts fly through?
Well, that's because the freaking ghosts had ghoul faces.
Yeah, it was meant to be freaky.
Yeah, nightmare.
That is a very interesting one.
But it is the most accurate depiction of Christmas present because the
wrong.
No, yes, correct.
The Muppet Christmas Carol is the most accurate.
Well, I'm saying
far.
Physically.
The Muppet Christmas. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
I do like the representative of the Muppet Christmas. He's my favorite representation.
The Muppet, the Ghost of Christmas Present in the Muppet Christmas Carol is both. He is welcoming to Scrooge, where Scrooge has not had anybody welcoming. He is a father figure, and yet he can gently rebuke Scrooge, and Scrooge doesn't fight back at the rebuke. It's beautiful.
Scrooge!
I could write a whole article on why the Muppet Christmas Carol is by far the best.
Well,
do we need to have a twaddling blog that you can just write down your thoughts?
This was the original cartoon in the original book.
Hello. Look at him.
I know, but that is...
I could see. You're right.
From Scrooge.
Is this
Scrooge, come in here.
Puffed out with...
Yep.
Because I've noticed that's a big thing. He has a lot of hair.
I do have to say it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You know, there is... I'm thinking more about the Scrooge musical. There's some really dark parts.
Yeah.
The whole song, Thank You Very Much, is a man literally dancing on a person's grave.
Correct. And
it is Scrooge, every day.
Scrooge is convinced that they're celebrating him.
Yeah. And he's just like, oh, look how much fun
He
we're
makes
having.
up for later when Scrooge forgives him his debts, when he comes back and redeems himself.
And then
he
the
sings
rape
the
cries
song
happen.
again.
And he sings it again.
My favorite thing, though, is that they are dancing and singing through the street, and a woman, shh, the baby's sleeping. Sorry, ma'am. And then they start singing it really quietly.
And then they turn the corner. Oh, la, 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 la.
Well, and the other part that I think is really funny is the elixir of life. Isn't that what they call it?
Yes.
Where it's heavily implied the reason that Scrooge is having such a good time is he's getting drunk.
Yep. It's the
The wine of
human kindness or
yeah.
something.
This is the drink of human kindness. Oh,
And I know he really does. He just starts streaking and he's ooh.
Sing with me, Scrooge. I like life. I like life. Life likes me.
I'm going to have to go and watch it. I haven't watched that this year yet.
Life is such a perpetual spree.
And copyright infringement.
Perpetual spree.
Perpetual spree.
No, that is a good one.
I hate people. People hate.
No, I know there's a lot of themes in that song that became daily things. When my wife worked in customer service, oftentimes we would play the "I hate people."
I despise them. All right, let's do some final words. We'll start with Jake. Jake, final words on Charles Dickens and the Christmas Carol.
You guys said miser, and it reminded me of the heat and the cold miser.
Hi,
Mr. Heat Miser.
Hey, they're coming out
I'm
with a
Mr.
new
Sun.
one of them. So I've heard.
Why?
They call me heat
Because
miser.
it's epic.
Because whatever I touch starts to melt in my clutch. Ba-bum, I'm too much.
The fact that you know that as well as you do.
Oh, that and when I've been sitting on the toilet for too long and my right leg goes numb, I stand up and I start doing the put
One foot in front of the other.
and
I've done that
soon
too.
you'll be walking out the door. But the problem is I get to the door and immediately trip and fall in my bed. And then I'm like, well, I tried. So
I walk like the warlock.
he really is. You're like that's like a newborn baby trying to walk around.
Have you guys ever looked up the guy who can do that in like real life? Like he does the stylistic like claymation movements.
Uh-uh.
Oh, I'll have to show it after this.
Oh.
Go on YouTube and just look up live action claymation and it should pop up. So
I will have to look. But other than that, I like the Christmas Carol. It's fun. It's a good moral story about a man who's bitter because of previous experiences and gets better because he's been haunted. Yeah. So the moral of the story is if you, my dear friends, are having a traumatic Christmas and hate Christmas, I feel very strongly that we need to scare the crap out of you. And then maybe, just maybe, you'll feel a little bit more of the Christmas spirit.
I love it. Final words from me. Charles Dickens is one of those writers that I've read his stuff. They are very interesting. We didn't even talk about like how Oliver Twist became kind of a phenomenon.
Yeah.
You know, it was a really big thing. It went into a play. It's been done multiple times in different kinds. There's a whole Disney movie about it.
Oliver and Company.
Yeah.
With dogs and a cat.
And
explain this
and
to
a
me.
dog who was voiced by none other than Mr. Piano Man himself. Do you guys know that?
I
By
did
Billy
know
Joel?
that.
Yeah, Billy Joel is the dog.
Really?
Yeah.
Makes sense why it's the best music.
They had
I'm gonna double check myself because I'm
quite the number. That was one of those ones too. That was one as a kid that you watched the end and you're like, the bad guy just got hit by a train.
The Artful Dodger was Billy Joel.
Do you realize that I've never seen that movie?
You've never watched it?
I've never watched
Oh,
it.
you got to do it just for Dom DeLuise.
He plays
Fagin.
the homeless guy, right?
Yep.
Oh, but then if you do that, then you got to go watch Five O Goes West. I was just talking to my wife about the rough.
Bow wow wow. Rough.
And then my favorite part is the part where his eyes go red and then he starts running at the bad guys with the pitchfork.
It is very good.
Anyways.
Anyway.
So
Christmas.
anyways, Charles Dickens, really good author. Christmas Carol, excellent book. I would say expand your horizons and read Charles Dickens. They're not hard reads. They are old reads in that you're not going to understand everything that he's talking about. You're going to read at Great Expectation and go, why is there an old miserly woman who's attacking this young boy? it doesn't really matter because the context of it is so far away from our time that it's going to be that way.
But it does matter, Daddy. She's hurting the little boy.
Well, sort of. So anyways, it's just read some Charles Dickens. Read more, people. You need to read. You actually need to sit down and read a book. Okay? Read a book.
Or, hear me out.
Listen to a book.
Listen to a book.
You can listen to a book too. Listen to some Charles Dickens. Josh.
This is what you've all been waiting for.
This is Josh's eulogy.
I made fun of Mark Twain. Charles Dickens is a good guy. I support this message.
You support your own message? Good for you, Josh.
But
Josh is a natural politician.
I have.
I'm going to make a statement, and I support my statement.
Hi, I'm Josh.
But I'm going to say one thing.
Say it.
I'm an accountant. And Scrooge is too. I feel attacked.
I think
he's actually a debt collector.
Yeah.
But I still feel attacked.
He's a mortgager.
Attacked.
I see. You are Scrooge.
I am Scrooge. Bah humbug. You know what? If ghosts come to me,
you would pee your pants. That's what would happen.
If it was in the shape of a spider, heck yeah, man.
I think we've come to the conclusion you believe in everything, so we just need to...
Can you imagine? Nope. Anyway, Charles Dickens. I love the guy. He's a good guy. He brought us Christmas Carol. I actually really like Christmas Carol. I love Scrooge as a person. A good guy.
I think everybody...
All right.
Before, after.
6, 7. Anyways.
What have you done?
I can edit that.
I was going for Trump, but you know what? Scrooge. That's a good guy.
That's not Trump. That's Kennedy.
Sorry.
Ich ben
leader.
Ich ben Christmas Carol. Don't even try.
Josh is trying really hard to...
Thank you for joining us this twaddling long episode. This is the beginning of our 3-episode arc.
I'm sorry.
So after Christmas, we will be coming back with a paranormal.
Now, mind you, the 3-episode arc is not all about Charles Dickens.
Hopefully not. I don't know. Maybe I will.
I couldn't even make one episode.
Paranormal of the Victorian ghost stories or something. I don't know.
Oh, there you go. I say, what are you going to do? You're going to have to do a paranormal for the new year.
I actually have something.
Aldlin sign.
I'm just going to say this right now because we've actually talked about it and it got me interested, and so I've been looking at it.
For a full year.
We're going to be talking about glitches in time. Specifically, I've compiled some stories about when things seem to be out of place.
Like me.
Like Josh, who is from...
Charles Dickens was walking down the road one time and went, "What the heck?" As Josh is just up in his office going, "Hey, Charles Dickens. Hey." And he's like, "Oh my gosh, it's the finance person, Scrooge."
So, have a wonderful holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Bah humbug.
We will see you before the new year.
We will. And guess what? I'll actually be a part of that episode.
By the way, Josh is scared of spiders. He's a really funny story to tell. We'll tell him next week.
Dickens.